Every Thursday at exactly 7:10 a.m., an older man walks into the same local diner. He wears faded jeans. His jacket is 10 years old. He orders the same thing every week: black coffee and eggs. The waitresses know him by name. Most customers don't notice him at all. If you had to guess, you'd probably think he was retired on a modest pension. You would be wrong. The man owns 3 apartment buildings outright. His investment portfolio is worth over $3 million. He hasn't had a car payment in 20 years. He could buy a luxury SUV this afternoon and never notice the money missing. He simply doesn't want one. And here's the strange part. The people driving German luxury cars into the same parking lot often have a lower net worth than he does. One group looks successful. The other group is financially free. These are very different things. This video isn't about dressing poorly or pretending to struggle. It's about understanding a pattern that researchers have observed for decades. The people who quietly build real wealth often become almost invisible. And the people who desperately look rich are frequently financing an image they can't actually afford. Because looking poor, or at least looking ordinary, might be one of the smartest wealth strategies ever discovered. But why would someone spend decades building money, only to hide it? Because visibility comes with a cost most people never calculate. Imagine 2 neighbors. Both earn $120,000 a year. The first buys a luxury SUV, upgrades to a larger house, wears designer brands, and posts expensive vacations online. The second drives a 6-year-old Toyota. His phone is 3 generations old. He lives below his means and invests the difference. 5 years later, they still look similar. 10 years later, they don't. The first person has a beautiful lifestyle. The second person owns freedom. Because every visible upgrade creates invisible obligations. The luxury car requires higher insurance. The larger house creates bigger maintenance costs. The expensive image demands constant maintenance. And here's what nobody talks about. Looking rich creates social pressure. People assume you can pay for dinners. People assume you can lend money. People assume you're comfortable spending more. Your lifestyle becomes a performance that never ends. The wealthy man in the old jacket doesn't have this problem. Nobody expects anything from him. He is financially invisible. And invisibility is surprisingly powerful. In fact, many wealthy people intentionally look ordinary for one specific reason. They want to avoid a game that never has a winner. Think about how status works. You buy a nice watch. Someone else buys a nicer one. You upgrade your car. Your coworker buys a newer model. You move into a bigger house. Someone down the street builds an even bigger one. The target keeps moving. Status is relative. No matter what you buy, somebody has more. And because the finish line constantly changes, the pursuit never ends. Researchers call this the hedonic treadmill. You adapt to improvements quickly. Yesterday's luxury becomes today's normal. Then you need another upgrade to feel successful again. The cycle repeats. But stealth wealthy people play a different game entirely. They don't ask, what will people think of this purchase? They ask, what is this purchase costing my future freedom? That question changes everything. Because a $70,000 vehicle isn't just a vehicle. It's also lost investment growth. It's years of future compounding that can never happen. It's delayed freedom. And the wealthy understand something most people don't. Money invested quietly becomes options. Money spent on appearances becomes memories and monthly payments. And that's why many millionaires end up looking surprisingly average. Not because they don't appreciate nice things, but because they're buying something much more valuable. A woman in her late 40s works at a marketing firm. She brings lunch from home. She wears simple clothes. She drives an older Honda CR-V. Her colleagues assume she's extremely conservative with money. What they don't know is that she has enough invested to walk away from her job tomorrow. Every meeting she attends is optional. Every difficult client is optional. Every stressful project is optional. That is wealth. Real wealth isn't the ability to buy expensive things. It's the ability to choose. The ability to say, I don't need this job. I can take 6 months off. I can spend more time with family. I can change directions. Money's greatest power is not consumption. It's control. And control often looks incredibly ordinary from the outside. You cannot photograph financial freedom. You cannot post it on social media. There is no luxury logo for having 0 debt and 20 years of expenses invested. So most people overlook it completely. But the biggest advantage of looking ordinary isn't financial. It's psychological. And it might be the most underrated benefit of all. Attention is expensive. The moment people believe you're wealthy, expectations begin. Questions appear. Comparisons begin. Pressure increases. You feel obligated to maintain an image. Stealth wealthy people avoid this entirely. They move quietly. Their money works in the background. Nobody asks why they didn't buy the newest phone. Nobody questions why they still drive an older car. Nobody expects a lifestyle upgrade. They are free from the performance. And perhaps that's why so many genuinely wealthy people appear relaxed. They have nothing to prove. Their self-worth isn't attached to their possessions, because they understand a truth that takes many people decades to learn. The purpose of money is not to impress strangers. The purpose of money is to create a life that belongs to you. Sometimes that life includes luxury. Sometimes it doesn't. But either way, the decision comes from freedom, not from the need for validation. And that's the difference. One person buys things to be seen. The other buys freedom to live on their own terms. From the outside, the first person often looks richer. From the inside, the second person usually is. So, should you intentionally look poor? Not necessarily. But there is enormous power in looking ordinary. Because when you stop spending money to prove success, you can finally start building it. You stop competing. You stop performing. You stop financing an image. And slowly, something remarkable happens. Your investments grow. Your stress declines. Your options increase. Your life becomes quieter. And ironically, the less you need to look rich, the closer you usually are to becoming truly wealthy. Because real wealth is often invisible. It's a paid-off house, an investment account nobody sees, a retirement fund growing in silence, a person wearing an old jacket who can walk away from work whenever they choose. The world notices luxury, but freedom? Freedom is usually parked in the corner of the parking lot, driving a 10-year-old Honda.